Hello, my name is Daniel Silva, and this is my Week 2 Project Milestone 2 Skynet edition for GPE205 at the University of Advancing Technology. For this week, we had to work on our artificial intelligence for our game, for our enemy AI. So I'm moving right into the objectives. Previous milestones met is first on the list, and if we go to our game very quickly, you can see I still have the ability to move around, to fire. So all previous objectives are still good. Game includes at least 4 AI tanks. Go over here and expand the scene view, and you can see that I actually have 7 AI tanks. And here are my enemies, and they all have AI controllers. AI tank personalities detailed in a text file. So we'll move over here, and in my README file, you can see my enemy states here detailed in the text file. At least 1 AI exhibits chase, 1 flee, 1 patrol, and I actually have an other state for resting. Um, so I'm going to go through all of these right now: chase, flee, and patrol. Um, since all the tanks have the same AI controller, they have all the state behaviors. So let me split this again. I want to be able to see both at the same time. I'm going to follow enemy 6 because he is the closest to my position on the map right now. And as I play, we'll be looking right here at this AI state. So all my AI start in patrol, you can see over here. I've given them raycasts so they can see the environment. As I move closer to this guy, I'm a little concerned because he's not currently moving. Anyway, let's see what he does. Okay, he's gone into chase. He is coming after me. He is firing at me. Chase and attack mode. If I get out of his sense radius. Oh, God, oh my gosh. Okay, well. I will shake him off by shooting him. Got a shot off on him. His health dropped below or to half. At half health, I have him running to recover. So now he is in a rest state where he will recover his health. As long as I don't come close to him, he will continue to recover until he reaches full health, and then he will go back to patrolling. Chase, fire, flee. He runs a safe distance so that he can recover, then begins to recover. Because I was too close, once he started recovery, he came back to chase because he dropped below, or he's above half health, but if I take him down below half health, he will run again. Now if I get close to him while he's fleeing, he will continue to flee, and he will not go into rest mode until I back off. And now he's resting again. I'm going to go ahead and expand this map here. I want to show this guy is currently navigating around the map. His waypoints, I set them up in such a way that he had to use object avoidance to get around the map. So, see, I believe that is that's 5. So if we look at enemy 5's waypoints, one here, and one over here. So he goes from 1 to 2, and then he has to navigate around this mountain to get to 3. And I did that so that we could demonstrate object avoidance, which is also an objective. And you'll see, kind of bumps into the wall, turns, goes a little way, turns again, and checks again where he's at. And he'll just keep doing that until he finds a clear path. So we just showed flee, patrol, chase, attack, and rest. Hearing and vision. You've seen the hearing when I came up close to him and he started chasing me. They have vision. They have currently they just have the ray casts. I'll make a field of view here in the next couple days. Proper field of view. AI and player tanks utilize save motor, shooter, and data components. So if you look at the player, tank data script, tank motor script, and I have my firing ability on my motor. You'll see all my enemy tanks are the same, with the exception of the AI controller, tank motor, tank data. And if we look at my scripts here, you will see that I have tank data and tank motor, one of each, not using any other special scripts. The enemy AI and the player tank both pull from these scripts. AI correctly utilized state machine logic, so I demonstrated that they properly go through the different states. Patrol, chase, flee, and rest. as a teaching element, we were told it's always best to uh, draw out the finite state machines before we created them, and that was a huge help for me. I just threw together this rough drawing. Here's my patrol, chase, rest, and flee, and I figured out what um, objectives needed to be met to transition into each state and which state would go to the next, and so on and so forth, which I will go into now in code so that it's a little bit clearer. Go to my AI controller. Here in my update, I'm only calling enemy states. We look at enemy states. If avoidance stage does not equal 0, do avoidance. That just checks if there's something they need to avoid, and if there is, they will go into this avoidance process until they get around the object. Otherwise, switch case for my states. And so I have patrol. If the current health is greater than half of the max health and they can sense the player, it sets a timer on the cannon, changes the state to chase. Otherwise, if the current health is less than or equal to half, they will go into a flee state. In chase, they will run chase and attack, which just gives them all the commands to come after me and start firing. If they sense the player, then I'm sorry. If the distance of the player is greater than their sense radius, then they'll go back to patrol. Otherwise, if their health is less than or equal to half, they will go into flee. In the flee state, if the player's position is greater than their sense radius and time is greater than or equal to the state enter time plus the flee time, so that's saying if they don't sense me and the allotted flee time has surpassed, then they will go into a rest state. During the rest state, if the player is close, they sense the player, and their current health is less than or equal to half, they will go back into flee. Or if they sense the player and their current health is greater than half, they'll go back into chase. Otherwise, if the player is not within their sense radius and their current health is greater than or equal to their max health, then set current health to max health and send them back to a patrol state. All movement behaviors utilize object avoidance. I've demonstrated that. Game Manager Singleton exists and allows easy access to player object and array of enemy tank objects. Here's my Game Manager. I have all the data from my enemy tanks, player tank, game objects during gameplay as displayed last time. you will see in real time all the health values and the point values for each enemy and the player's score. Bug and error free. As you can see, there are no errors in the console. Comments. So I have some comments, and I still need to add some comments, but all the comments will be added in before my submission is actually sent in and while this video is processing. Project organization, hierarchy, and project tabs are well organized. Files and classes are named appropriately, and extraneous objects are removed. So you can see the organization here. Player tank, which is composed of all these different parts. All my enemies and all of their parts. I have my waypoints for each enemy tank specified. On my enemies, I have, of course, waypoint arrays. And then all my terrain is grouped together. You see my assets, art, object, scene, scripts. This is all my materials and such. My prefabs. I have the one main scene and all my scripts. Code, logic, and structure. You've seen some of that in my state machine example. All the code is functioning as it should currently. Optimize and utilize techniques covered in class. So I've used some of the techniques that we've covered, and I've also used switch cases, as you can see. Switch case for my AI. Just to keep everything clean. Like I was showing earlier, I only call enemy states in my update. Enemy states pretty much does all the other work, and each state calls their own function. Enemy patrol does a check and then tells it to navigate the waypoints, chase an attack, move towards a player, set a timer, auto fire the cannon. Flee, turn around and run away. Rest, regain your health. Do avoidance. Check if there's an object. If there is, turn, go a little bit, check to see if there's still an object. Continue the process until you get around it. You can see I've done a lot of private variables and serialized field, and I like adding headers so that in the project everything looks cleaner. You can see the headers. Everything is clear to read. And I like to organize that out as well. And game exceeds minimum requirements. So, uh, like I said in the last video, I didn't use cubes and cylinders. I added terrain and I painted it in. I edited a little bit so that the tanks can move around everywhere. I will show the different patrol options. Most of these guys are set to loop. This guy in particular, I set him to ping pong, just so that you can see that my patrol type is also functioning as it should. And what I also did is with the raycasts, they're checking for an environment layer mask. So when it hits that mountain, it reads the environment and it goes into avoidance. So you see he's coming up on his third point, and then he's just going to turn around and go back. The rest of the enemies are currently just looping around 1, 2, and 3. He's going 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1. So I wanted to show that. I wanted to show object avoidance in the map. That's why I set this guy up the way I did. And the rest are just doing basic random patrols. See, I have a pretty large map. I can add a lot more tanks. Maybe add a super tank back in this corner. And as mentioned last time, I have made various elements of my tank move, rotate. If you can see the tread on my tank, I have it set to move as I move. The cannon retracts as I fire. And like last time, I have added camera switch view. A little rotating radar. And my enemies are still dying. But I have yet to instantiate explosions and add sounds and effects. So that will be coming up soon. And I believe that concludes everything for my Project Milestone 2 Skynet Edition for GPE205 at the University of Advancing Technology. I will catch you next time.